Hey everyone, it's Lisa from the blog farmhouseonboone.com, and today I want to show you how to make raw milk yogurt in the Instant Pot. So this is in continuation with sort of my raw milk series. I went over why our family chooses to drink raw milk, plus answer some of your questions and answers that I got from Instagram on raw milk. But now I want to share with you some recipes. I have quite a few planned. I already shared with you on how to make a not raw milk yogurt, so traditional yogurt where you first pasteurize the milk. And now I want to share with you how to actually keep it raw. Now the reason that this is tricky is because of the normal bacteria that are already in milk that like to proliferate and kind of compete with yogurt starter. Raw milk yogurts tend to be really runny. Now the way to remedy that is with some gelatin. Now this method I actually learned from another blogger. Her name is Wardy and she blogs over at Gnaufglins. I'll link her YouTube channel and her blog down below. But this works great. My sister Laura uses this same method as well. It's actually faster than making the not raw yogurt because you don't have to actually heat all of the milk up. And it makes some really delicious yogurt, especially if you're using some fresh raw milk from a local dairy. The cream will rise to the top. It is the best tasting stuff you'll ever taste. I wish I could just have this in cream only and not even bother with the rest of the milk, but that's not the way God intended it, so that is not how it works. So I'm gonna start first by shaking this milk. Doesn't really matter, I just don't want to heat up all my cream, because what I'm gonna do first is get a couple of cups of milk going in my Instant Pot to dissolve the gelatin. I don't want to heat all of this because I want most of this to be raw milk yogurt, but I do have to heat up a couple cups just to get some gelatin dissolved. Okay, so I'm just gonna add 2 cups-ish of milk to my Instant Pot and get that going. You can either use the saute function or you can double press the yogurt button to get it to boil, whatever will do to heat it up so that you can dissolve the gelatin. Okay, once the milk is heated up, I'm gonna add about 2.5 tablespoons of gelatin powder. I just grabbed the Now brand off, I believe off Thrive Market. And then I'm just going to whisk it in. I cannot find my whisk. I don't remember what happened to it. So I'm just gonna use this little vintage egg beater thing, which I actually enjoy using for eggs, but I'm gonna need to get a whisk. All right, once the gelatin is fully dissolved in the little bit of milk here, you can turn the saute function off and then press the yogurt button. Now you can either stew your yogurt anywhere from 8 hours up to 24. Now if you're following the Trim Healthy Mama or the GAPS protocol, you're going to want to ferment it for the full 24 hours. Those are the rules in those diets. I'm gonna do mine 24 hours, so I'm just gonna increase it to 24. I've done it 8, I've done it 8.5. Really depends on your preference, how sour you like it, and then if you're following any sort of special diets, or how long you have to wait because maybe you're really in need of some yogurt and you want it sooner than later. Next, I'm gonna add the rest of my milk. Now I am making a full gallon. That's what these measurements are for. If you wanna make less, you can of course cut them in half. All right, next it's time to add the yogurt starter. I'm using the one that Wardy recommends. I've always used this one just because I was afraid of having inconsistent results. Now I have, with pasteurized yogurt, just used a yogurt from the store. Any plain yogurt will do for a starter. But raw milk yogurt is a little bit finicky because of those competing bacteria. So I just stick with this one from Homesteader Supply. I used to get this off of Amazon, but lately they've stopped selling on Amazon, and so I order directly from their website. It's the same price, it's just, you know, I'm used to ordering from Amazon, but now I just go to homesteadersupply.com. It's the Lio Pro Y Plus yogurt culture. If any of you have tried something else, let me know. I'm sure it would work. I just am like, I've had such inconsistent results with raw milk yogurt, so I'm sticking to exactly what Wardy says. It's what my sister does too. We just go and we buy this particular culture and it's always delicious, so why fix what isn't broken? Now, depending on what culture you use, you can look at their directions. This one says to use 1/16 of a teaspoon per gallon, so that's what I'm going to do. There only is 1 teaspoon in this whole thing, but it lasts a while considering that you use 1/16. You could try using the previous batch to inoculate the next one. I've never had good success with that when doing raw milk yogurt just because of all of the live probiotics that are already in it tend to want to compete out with the yogurt. So I buy fresh every time, but you can experiment and let me know in the comments how it goes. I always like to swirl my teaspoon in there just to make sure I get all of that good culture in there, and then just stir it in with your whisk or spoon. Make sure it's all incorporated. Okay, now I'm just going to put my Instant Pot lid on, set it to sealing. Doesn't really matter because it's not actually sealing, and just let it go for 24 hours or 8 or whatever you choose, anywhere in between that time. Now, a few notes. One, I leave out, I mentioned this in my other yogurt video, the seal around the top. And the reason for that is it's not really sealing. It does not need to come to pressure, so you don't actually need it. And that seal tends to hold on to meat, smells, and tastes. And so it's not a good flavor for your yogurt. And so I like to just go ahead and leave that off when I'm making yogurt. Also, per Wardy's recommendations, I bought a second insert for this. And the reason for that is this, after it sits for the amount of time that you want to culture it, needs to go in your fridge for a full 24 hours. So this is not a quick process. So here it is, afternoon. 2 days from now in the afternoon, I'm gonna have yogurt. But if you always stay on top of it and make it well before you get down to the end, it's no problem at all. It's super easy. You just add a couple of things, put in your Instant Pot, let it sit. But I don't like to sacrifice my Instant Pot insert for an additional 24 hours because we use this for making bone broth and for a lot of other things in our family, chickens, roasts. It's just such a useful instrument. Hard-boiled eggs is my newest favorite thing to make in there. So I bought an additional insert. I'll link the one I have below. I just got it off Amazon. And then I also bought a glass lid because before, when I was doing this, I was just covering it with something disposable, which you don't want to do. And so now this is just an Instant Pot glass lid, fits right on top. And I can just put it in the fridge, and then in 24 hours, I have my yogurt all done, and I can use my Instant Pot in the meantime. The only time I'm sacrificing it is during the fermenting time, which for me is 24 hours. Now, when this is done, you're going to have a layer of thick cream on top that is fermented, as well as the rest of it. Now, you can mix that all in so that you have a nice, evenly distributed fat throughout the yogurt. You could skim it off and use it for sour cream, or you can skim it off and hide from your kids and eat it because it is the best tasting thing ever. So depending on what you want to do with it, you can do that. I'm going to share in another video how to make sour cream individually, but this is another great way to make sour cream. If you really want to simplify things, you could even just throw some extra cream in here. That way you can have both cream for your yogurt and some sour cream. Make it easy in your kitchen and only have to deal with, a couple of starter cultures and just an easy process so that you don't have to learn something new. So that is definitely an option as well. I know that you'll love this recipe. It's so easy to make. Make sure to check out Wardy. I love a lot of her fermenting tips. She's taught me so much over the years, and this is definitely one of my most favorite recipes. Also, as always, you can check the description box below for any sources, blog posts that I mentioned. I will link the Instant Pot that I have. I have the 6-quart. It's important to get the one that has the yogurt function. Mentioned this before, but we really could not live without that. As well as the cultures, the additional stainless pot, and whatever supplies that you need. I'll link what I have below, as well as the additional insert and glass lid. I'll link all of that stuff, gelatin, whatever, in the description box, what we have here in our home. If you are brand new to my channel and you have not watched any of my other fermenting recipes, I have several on fermenting vegetables, as well as kefir, yogurt, water kefir. I'm gonna link my playlist below for all things fermented, as well as visit that video where I answer your questions about raw milk and why we chose it for our family, why we think it's beneficial, and you can start on your research journey of figuring out where you can find it in your area and if it's a good fit for you and your family. All right, well, if you're brand new to my channel, please hit that subscribe button. I make 2 new videos every week on food from scratch, natural living, and a handmade home. Thank you so much for stopping by the farmhouse.